Well, hi, friends. Welcome back to another podcast.
What are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about some deep shit.
Oh, yeah.
We are talking about our relationships with our bodies and how we've kind of been affected by our relationships with our bodies over our lifetime.
Right. It's a heavy one.
It's a heavy one. It's basically there's been like a lot recently that I have been dealing with, and then we've been talking about it more because of that. So, yeah, we just wanted to come and share what we've been dealing with and then how it's affected like the whole time. Like, when do you think you started looking at your body as more than just like, oh, it's my body? Like,
honestly, also probably before we start, we should say that this is going to be like a huge triggering topic.
yeah.
Like, we're going to be talking about like eating disorders,
Yeah.
like throwing up, food,
Yeah.
calories.
Yeah, I also want to say like that, along with all that, anything we say is to do with how we're feeling about our bodies. It doesn't mean anything about other people's bodies. I know
There
like
are
a lot
opinions.
when like I would like feel a certain way about my body, and then people would see me and then they'd be like, oh, well, if she thinks that about her body, imagine what she thinks about my body.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Like, I don't think that way about other people's bodies.
Yeah.
It's very much like a personal in the head thing, which I think we'll touch on as well, being like the mental health portion of it. But yeah, it's a very triggering topic for a lot of people. So that's like the warning before we go into this.
Just to get into it. But I would probably say around like 10, 11. 10, 11, 12 was probably when I was like realizing that like a woman's body was probably more sexualized, and that weight was a huge component of that. Because growing up, we saw a lot of like, I don't know what the magazines were, the names of them, like Hello magazine, I think.
Yeah,
and
Hello.
Stuff like that. We had the teen beats as well, the Tiger Beat. We had a lot of those. But they were always talking about, oh, this woman gained 5 pounds. She's gained 20. She can't lose her baby weight. She looks terrible.
Or like how to lose 10 pounds in
like a week.
A week, yeah.
Super unhealthy. And like, also that, I think we talked about it earlier, there was like that feminine chic look that was going on.
because we were born in like the late 90s, like early 2000, like we grew up in that time, and it was like very like it was coming out like just out of like the heroin chic era.
Yeah.
And then but like the girls that were like quote unquote role models at the time were like thin models.
Yeah.
Yeah, like basically like straight up and down all around.
Like no curves.
Yeah.
Just like a running bean pole.
Yeah, either like super thin or like just no curves. Like,
yeah,
that was like the like trend at the time. Like what everybody was looking for. So that put a lot of pressure, I think.
Yeah, like even like a really young age. And also, like I said earlier, that I had boobs at 12.
Yeah.
Right? Like I've always had big boobs.
Yeah, we have very different like experiences when it comes to like our breasts.
Yeah.
Because like you had them really young, and then I just like didn't develop for a long time.
You got them in high school though, right?
No, I didn't get them until college.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I was like an A-B in college or in high school, and like I used to get made fun of for having small boobs.
Right.
All through high school with people who I thought were my friends at the time,
but we're not.
That were actually not. But they would like make fun of it, and then and then I went to college and I gained weight. And then I ended up getting boobs, And then when I lost weight, they didn't go away.
They just stayed.
And that's how I got them. But before that, like, I just felt like shitty about them most of the time.
Because you wanted to have them.
Yeah, but in like a very different way than you.
You see, I wanted them, but I didn't want them that much. Like, I had B boobs at 12.
Yeah.
Which is quite big for a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And also, because it was going around that everyone wanted, like, Hollister, Campus Crew, Aeropostale, and they had really tight tops.
Yeah.
They're not for curvy girls.
Yeah.
And I've obviously been plus size since I was probably, like, 13, 14. Like, I've been bigger, right? Mm-hmm. So, also, when I have a huge top, they just look tight as fuck on my boobs.
Yeah.
But then they're smaller around my waist.
Yeah.
So then they accentuate my boobs more.
Yeah, because it's like that was the style, was to wear like tight skinny jeans with like a tight t-shirt and a tight tank top underneath. Like everything was just tight.
Everything was just tight.
Even sweaters, you'd get those zip up sweaters that were like skin tight to your body.
They just wouldn't suit you. They wouldn't suit me at all, but I just like loved the clothes.
Yeah.
But because I had such a tight top on, it would like show my boobs more. So then people were like, oh, like, whoa, you shouldn't be wearing that at 12. And I'm like, why are you sexualizing my boobs?
When you're 12.
When I'm 12.
Yeah. And it's not like you can help it.
Literally,
like,
I cannot help it.
Like, they grow, like, whether you want them to or not. Or they, in my case, they don't grow. Yeah. I was doing absurd things at, like, 13, thinking, because I had no boobs.
Were you stuffing?
I never stuffed, but I would find outrageous things I would hear, like doing like these like weird ass like chest exercises to increase my bust size, or like I had read like online that like, oh, if you wear a bra a size too big for you to bed every night, then your boobs would grow into the bra.
I remember that one.
Obviously not true. But I was doing that, and then just like hoping that they would
just grow in the night.
So like in like grade 9, I was like, we were like 13, 14.
Yeah.
Grade 9, I was a size A, but I would wear a size B to bed every night. And just wore a bra all the time and hope that they would grow into it. And then, like, later then I heard, oh, no, you have to not wear a bra to bed because it'll stunt your growth.
Oh.
So then I just, like, stopped wearing a bra to bed altogether because I was like, no, I need them to grow. Or I, like, wouldn't, like, sleep on my stomach.
Yeah.
So that, like, they would have room to be able to grow. Like, I read the strangest stuff and just tried everything, and they just, like, never grew.
Yeah. There were some weird things. Also, oh my God, when we went into grade 9, Tumblr was really, really big.
Yeah.
So all over Tumblr was the thigh gaps. Do you remember the thigh gaps?
Yeah, the thigh gaps.
So some people would tape their thighs really, really, really tight before they'd go to bed.
That's a wild
thing. And then you would sweat, right?
I never did that.
I never did that either. But, like, obviously I wanted thigh gaps because, like...
Because it was all over Tumblr.
It's all over my Tumblr, and then it's on, like, my blog, and I'm reblogging them. I'm like, oh, yeah, I just want to be, like, an emo girl with thigh gaps.
Yeah, which was just, like, super skinny... emo girl.
Oh my God, and they like on Tumblr they glorified trigger warning cutting.
Oh yeah,
it's really uncomfortable, and
I never did it.
No.
So like for me, I was like, I can only imagine what that's like to see as like for somebody who did do it. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
It's a really shitty influence to have.
Yeah.
That young.
Yeah.
And then also you don't want to talk to your parents about it or anyone else because it's shameful, and it's like you're going up to an adult being like, I'm cutting myself because I'm in pain.
Yeah.
But then the obvious reaction would be like, just stop cutting yourself.
Yeah. It's like for somebody who doesn't do it, especially at that time, it wasn't really talked about as much.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like I think people just like didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
When somebody would like come out about it, or when like somebody found out. Most often I feel like it was finding out about it rather than somebody telling about it.
Yeah.
my big thing when it came to stuff, it was when I was like stressed or like anxious or stuff like that, and like dealing with stuff, it was never like to me, cutting was never a form of control for me.
Right.
Whereas like the eating was.
Yeah.
And that's where like my eating disorder came from. Mm-hmm. And then like things started like, and like people didn't know, like I want to say this as well, like people didn't know that I had an eating disorder when I was going through it.
No.
I eventually, like, I didn't like go to rehab or anything for it, but it like it's clear I still struggle with heavy signs of an eating disorder, I would say.
Yeah, because you still get quite affected by like food, your relationship with food,
my weight,
yeah,
how I look. It's like yeah, so like that. And like, I mean, I asked you the question of like when you felt like you started thinking about your body more. I don't even know if I can pinpoint like when it started, like an exact moment or like an age. I just remember like thinking from quite a like young age of like specifically like, oh, I need to be like sexy.
Oh yeah,
like from a like pretty young age, like that's what like you needed to strive for. And I was like probably like early like preteen,
yeah,
thinking that and like I don't know like what, I don't remember like as much like how that affected me like super early on. Like I feel like for a long time, like in early high school, I just was like, oh, like I'm below average attractive.
Yeah.
And just like constantly like thinking that. And then just like feeling like that was going to affect a lot of like opportunities for me.
Right.
Whether that be with boys, whether that be with pretty much anything. Like it's hard to like explain, like, but I feel like when you're in high school, like there's a lot of like
standards,
like standards, but like also like, oh, do you like this person, or
right,
does this person like you, like oh, I think this person likes you. And then yeah, like there's a lot of like that talk like in high school, and like you're obviously like going through puberty, and like everybody's bodies are changing and hormones are all over the place. So then you're like, oh, do I like this person? But then you're like, and then like it just makes you think a lot more about like what you look like, because like when you think like, oh, I'm gonna like go on a date with somebody, like then you're like, oh, like I should look nice for this date. And then it's like, okay, well then like what do I wear? And then that goes to like, okay, well this looks trash on me. And then like I've had hips for like a long time. Like I've had hips for a really long time from a pretty young age. Kind of same with like the boob situation. And pants, like trying to buy pants with the hips. And do you remember when like high-waisted pants are in now? But do you remember when low-rise jeans? Nightmare for me.
Yeah.
Like absolute nightmare for me. Like I could not wear low-rise jeans.
They did not look flattering on me at all.
Neither. And I wanted to wear them so bad. Yeah. But and then also like just in my household, it was a no-go.
No.
Like, my grandma was like, there is no way you are wearing them. Because, like, most of the time then, like, because I have hips, they never fit right. So then I would, like, bend down to get something. Full underwear view. Like, you would see. Like, do you remember when the whale tail was in?
What's that?
The whale tail's like when you used to wear a thong and then wear low-rise jeans, and then you would bend over and you would see.
I did not know there was a name for it.
Yeah, it's called because it looks like a whale tail.
Also, I remember there was a big deal when like young girls should have like made that transition from like underwear to thongs. Do you remember that?
And it was always a big deal.
And when you got your first thong, you were like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm such a lady.
You're like, wow, I'm an adult. Like, I'm a woman now.
And it would be like the shitty thongs from La Senza Girl.
Yeah. And you would buy like 7 for like $20 or something. Yeah. Or, like, do you remember when you got your first bra?
Oh, God, yes. I had my first bra, like, friggin' 11.
Yeah, I did not, obviously. Was that, like, a good experience for you, or was it, like, traumatic?
I think so, because, like, my boobs hurt, right? Like, they didn't really hurt that much when I was, like, a child. Yeah. But they were very heavy, so then they gave me a lot of back pain. So I'm like, great, honestly, this bra will just give me a little breathing room. Yeah. You know, hold the girls up for a little while. Yeah. Because I was having, do you remember training bras?
That's what I had.
I had a little sporty bra. It was like white and black. Yeah. Loved it.
I started in those too.
And they were like mesh.
Oh, mine wasn't mesh.
Oh, mine was mesh.
Mine was like that, like, to be honest, probably one of the only types of bras that I want to wear right now. Just now that I'm an adult. Ones. But it's like, it's kind of like a bralette style, but it's like athletic almost material. Yeah.
But, like, I loved getting a new bra. Like, or my first bra. Yeah. Now I don't wear bras.
Now I don't wear bras
like,
either.
I have triple D right now, which is heavy. But I don't like bras. I just don't like the look of them, or like I just don't like the feel of them on me, because now I feel constrained. Yeah. And like it just like is a pain to have to hold them in all the time, and also like you would have to wear a bra out like for other people, you know? Yeah. They're like, oh my god, she should be wearing a bra.
Yeah. See, like I was in training bras for a while. And then eventually I was like, no, like I want a real bra. Went and got sized at like a Walmart, I think. I don't even think it was like...
Could have been Zellers.
I think it was a Zellers. Yeah. I was like, yeah, it was Zellers. Because in that plaza...
where it was next to Price Chopper.
Yeah. It was Price Chopper and Zellers. Now it's Freshco and Walmart. Yeah. But it was... Price Choppers and Zellers. So I probably had a Zellers, and I think like the woman there just like literally just measured my bust. Yeah. Like no other measurements were done. Nice. and then I had like I was obviously not very big at the time. So I wore like an A cup. And then I had like 2 A cup bras, and I would go between those and like a training bra that I would wear. And I wore those for a while. I had like a couple sports bras too. Like instead of like reversible sports bras too. Oh my god. Yeah. So I would have those that I would wear under my clothes a lot. And then I got to high school, and then obviously like the other girls that I was in school with, quite a few of my friends started to get boobs. Like quick. And mine just like non-existent.
Not happening.
Just weren't happening. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? And then, do you remember that song, The Itty Bitty Titty Committee? Yeah. Yeah, so I heard that song a lot for a while. And then I was like I still think that affects me today because, like, you know, like, I always underestimate, like, how big my chest is. Yeah. Because now I have boobs.
You have boobs.
But then, like, I'll be like, oh, no, like, I'm a small. Or I'm an extra small.
I'm like, girl.
And then I'll put it on, and my boobs are, like, overflowing, and you're like, bro. Like, you're not a small. Like, so, like... Now, I think, like, just, it's been in my head now. Like, I'm in my head that they're small. Yeah. And then, like, in college, so then, like, all through high school, they were, like, A or B. I was wearing a C sometimes because I was, like, wanting...
Did you want to make yourself think
I wanted a C cup, right. But, like, I wasn't a C cup. Yeah. Like, you know when you get, like, gapping? When your bra is too big, yeah, that was me. And you could, like, I was wearing a shirt and you could see the gapping.
That's the worst part. And, like, you can pull it up and there's just air.
And there's just air, like, between your boob and the cup. Yeah, so then I was, like, doing that. And then I guess we'll just, like, keep with the boob part for now. And then in college, again, like, I gained a lot of weight in college. Right. So then in college, I grew, and then I went and got resized for the first time, might I add, since I got sized at the Zellers. Yeah. Like, I had not been sized since. So I went and got sized, and I was still wearing my BC cup that weren't fitting bras. But now, that C cup was, like, suction cup to my boob. And I was like, what is going on? So then I got resized. And then I got a new bra, and then at this point I'm like a D now.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, like this
We've jumped.
Yeah, we've jumped a lot, because realistically, let's be real, I was like an A or B in high school.
Yeah.
So then even in grade 12, like I was like an A or B. And then like over like the span of my first year of college was when I jumped to a D. And then even then, like I was still smaller than one or two of my friends in college. Which didn't bother, like I found I wasn't as bothered about it. I was in like a long-term relationship at that point too, and like, so that like kind of validation for those were there as well. Like, so I wasn't feeling as shitty about it. And then there was like a time when like one of my friends like made fun of them, and that like really affected me and like really like bothered me a lot. Since then, like, we've talked about it and it's fine, but, like that really, it's, like, one of those things, like, you know how, like, you can poke fun at, like, your friends sometimes, but it was, like, one of those things for me that was, like, too far.
It's, like, an off-limit topic.
Yeah, and, like, I think because I was made fun of, like, in high school so much for it, it just, like, really, like, hit a nerve.
Yeah.
And then, like, even now I remember it, and it's been years since that happened. But I would, like, wear bras constantly with push-up. Always. I never wore a bra without a push-up.
Really?
Always had underwire, always had push-up for the longest time. Like, as soon as I realized that you could buy bras with push-ups, I was wearing a bra with push-up.
I never wore a push-up.
Because
I didn't need to.
You didn't need to.
Like, when I went into high school, I think I was sitting at maybe a C when I was in grade 9.
Yeah.
And then by the end of high school, I think I was around a D.
Wow. By the end of grade 9? Or the end of high school?
By the end of high school, I was at a D.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, throughout, I was a C, then a D. Then I went to university, I gained weight. My boobs went up to a double D.
Yeah.
Then I lost the weight. The boobs stayed.
Yeah.
Then I gained the weight again.
Yeah.
And then my boobs went up to triple D. And then I lost the weight again, and now they've just stayed the same.
Yeah.
So, like, at this point, I'm definitely considering a boob reduction.
Yeah.
Just to, like, a CD.
Yeah. Sometimes I want a boob job to get them bigger because, as I said, I've always had, like, wide hips.
Yeah.
And then I feel like sometimes I look, like, misproportioned because I'm like, oh, like, my upper body doesn't match, like, my lower body because, which, let's be real, I don't have a small chest, like, that small of a chest.
You don't, no.
So, like, but, like, to me, like, if I went up, like, a cup or two, it would, like, balance my upper body and my lower body. But that's like, that happens way less than it used to. Like, I went through a time where I was like, oh, I want one for sure.
Yeah.
And then, like, it was like, maybe I do, maybe I don't. Now it's like, if I'm feeling kind of shitty about it, then I'll be like, maybe I should get a boob job.
Yeah, I definitely want a boob reduction because, like, I'm at a point where my boobs are so big that, like, it constricts what I want to actually wear. Because, like, I have broad shoulders as well, so it makes me feel like a linebacker.
I don't think you look like... I feel like that's, like, a lot in your head, though.
It's body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Like, my just chest is so big that, like, I can't just wear, like, a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, a tight t-shirt with, like, cute jeans?
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I can do that.
You can do that perfectly fine and it looks cute, but, like, for me, it literally looks like I've put, like, a toddler's shirt on.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look cute.
Yeah, because then also I think that's the sizing thing that I have with my hips. Like, with my hips, like, my hips are a lot wider than my waist. So then I can only buy certain pants or jeans because they won't fit my waist or my... Like, a pair of trousers, you won't... I can't.
No.
Because I can never find the ones that fit because trousers have no stretch.
Yeah.
So they never fit my waist and my hips. You have the same issue, but with tops. So, like, if you have to get a top to fit your boobs, then it doesn't fit your waist.
Yeah.
Because your boobs are so much bigger.
That's the thing. And when I get a top, I'll stretch it out a bit. But then there's, like, it's huge gappy because my boobs are so much bigger than my waist.
Yeah.
So then it looks weird. So I really struggle to find tops that are cute and that suit me nice. Because I'm more top heavy than I am more bottom heavy.
Yeah.
Like, on my bottom, I'm probably, like, a medium or, like, a 12, 11 in jeans.
Yeah.
But on my top, I could be, like, an XL.
Yeah.
because it won't go past my tits.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way I am with jeans.
Yeah.
I just recently bought jeans, which I'll tell a bit more about this story.
With the skirts as well.
Literally, it's so hard for me to, and like, because I haven't bought new pants.
Yeah.
Unless they're like joggers or something online because of COVID, because I can't try them on. So joggers, I know they'll fit because of the stretchiness. Like, I have like a few pair of like lounge sets that I've bought that will fit because they're stretchy.
Yeah.
So it's fine. But like jeans, like skirts, like anything like that, I cannot buy online because I have to try them on ahead of time. So I haven't bought like anything new like that unless I've been able to go into the store, which has been very slim for the last year.
Yeah.
And then this summer, I don't fit into any of the clothes that I fit in the summer before, which I'll go more in depth about that. But I don't fit into any of those clothes anymore, so I needed new ones. And I bought jeans and a couple skirts, and I always try stuff on and then come out and show Annie. And even if they don't fit.
Yeah.
And these jeans, I tried to get on. It's like halfway out my butt cheek, and the rest of my butt cheek is just like hanging out. And I come out and like, yeah, I don't think these fit. It's just like, because they don't have enough, like any stretch. So then like I can't get them, like even though the waist will fit my waist, like I've done the measurements, they don't stretch enough to be able to get over my hips to begin with to actually get them on my body.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
it's a struggle.
Yeah.
It's honestly, like, that's the same for me, but with my tops. Like, I need to go into a store to know if I can get this past my boobs.
Yeah.
So, thankfully, I've been shopping at Lulu's, which is this one I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
It's like a black, is it a tank?
Yeah, I would say it's a tank.
Because it's kind of a tank, but it's a, what's this?
V-neck?
A V-neck.
Yeah.
V-necks are so much better if you have big boobs.
Yeah.
Because it lets them breathe a bit, and I think it also makes it look more appealing or more attractive.
Yeah.
You can wear what you want, obviously, but like for me, if I wear like a shirt too close to my neck, it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, they look like.
Because then it just makes you look bigger than you actually are as well.
Yeah, like I think also again, like I feel like same with me, like a lot of the stuff that you think when you have it on is like in your head. Like most people that would see you in like a higher neck top probably wouldn't think that,
yeah.
But because we're in our heads and looking at our bodies all the time, we're like, oh my god, my boobs look huge. Oh my god, my ass looks massive.
Oh my god. Like I am such a self-criticizer. Also with ADHD, you have a thing called rejection oh my god, I can't say the word.
Sensitivity?
Sensitization or something like that.
Okay.
So you're more prone to others' criticisms. So, like, you instantly go to the worst place in your head.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And you're kind of always thinking that other people are thinking, oh my god, like, what is she wearing?
Yeah.
It's kind of like anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people with ADHD also have anxiety and depression and OCD.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of just like that compulsive thinking that when you're constantly thinking it, you then believe it's true.
Yeah.
Because your mind's telling you it is.
Yeah.
Even though other people are not.
Not thinking that at all.
No. Like, I'll, like, buy clothes that are too big, and then you're like, you're not that size. And then I got those jeans.
Yeah.
I could fit another person in them.
Yeah. Yeah. Annie and I, like, will sometimes do online shopping, and, like, we'll be in the same room when one of us are doing it. And, like, my thing with the tops is just, like, Annie's like, bro, size up.
Yeah.
Size up. Like, you're not, like, your boobs are not that small.
Yeah.
Size up. And I was like, okay. And then I'll size up. But, like, with Annie, like, Annie always sizes too far up.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you're not that big.
I know.
And then, like, the biggest thing is we're just like, okay, look at the facts, which are our measurements.
Yeah,
and then we're just like, go by our measurements.
Go by the measurements.
Yeah. Even then, like, sometimes, like I said, like, even though with the jeans, I went by my measurements, it's still, like, it doesn't have enough stretch. Like, even though the ass part would have fit if I was able to get it, the waist part over my hips, it would have fit.
Yeah.
But if I can't get it over, then it's
like, then it's a waste of money.
Like,
because I grew up fat, right? So then I've always kind of been, like, determined by my weight. So I think growing up, it's kind of hard to get out of that mindset. Like, now I'm comfortable with my body. Like, I'm okay being plus size or curvy or fat or whatever you want to call it. I'm perfectly fine with that as long as you're, like, you're healthy.
Yeah. You just want to be healthy.
I just want to be healthy at this point and wear clothes that I actually really like.
Yeah.
And I think that's hard for a lot of girls to come to realization because growing up, you think that that's the standard.
Yeah.
But now there's more of like a plus size, like the positivity, body positivity that we've talked about. Like it's more, not acceptable, but like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I think like you can look a lot of different ways and like still be healthy.
Yeah.
I think like people should just be like striving to be like healthy for themselves.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like that's like, I mean, that's what I've done as well. Anybody who follows me on social media has seen the difference, like stages my body has gone through.
Yeah.
I basically started working out in 3 years ago now. 2018, yeah. And it was after college. In college, so, oh man, this goes back like
college, yeah,
pretty far. But like when, like growing up, my siblings are not built like I am. Most of them, at least. A lot of my siblings like are built tiny. Like, they're like flexible. They're like pretty thin, I would say, and then they don't have like the curviness that my body has always had. And then I'm also only 5'3", but I'm I'm the tallest out of my siblings. So like they're just short, they're little, like, you know. So then growing up next to them, like there were certain times where people made, like family members made comments about it. Not anybody like I'm too close to, but like it's still
like extended family.
Yeah, yeah. And then like with school, like growing up, like my sister and I went to the same high school, and there were times when like we would have like a dress down day, and she would be allowed to wear like short shorts, and like not my family, like the school was letting her wear like short shorts and like a crop top because she didn't have like boobs or hips.
Yeah.
But then because I did, if I wore that, like I would get like detention for it, or like told that I had to change, or
I got
like
asked so many times to change.
Yeah, and like it just bothered me like so much. Like I'm like, but they're getting away with it because, and like there was like a lot of like resentment there of like how I looked because of that.
Yeah.
And then so that was like in high school, and then that was in like early high school that started to happen, because obviously like I said, I've had hips for a while now, and then my hips came out early. Like my boobs didn't, but my hips did. So then as time like went on in high school, I just like remember like grade 12 was like probably like a really fun year, like in general, like with all the stuff that was like going on in my life. Like I was involved in a lot of things, and I really like enjoyed grade 12 in high school. So like this was just like, I didn't know what was going to happen in college. Like I didn't know, like there was like a lot of things that were going to be changing, and then that like kind of made me nervous, because like I had been in the same like home for like a while now. I had been like at the same high school, like I liked everybody there, like, so then that like big change was like nerve-wracking for me to an extent. And then I was busy all the time, and then through that I was like, well, what I can control is like what I look like.
Right.
So then to be honest, it did start as like, I'm gonna like start making like healthier decisions. So I'm not going to eat as much junk food, and I'm going to like cut out like snacking, like, because I used to snack a lot. So I was like, I'll like cut out junk food and like snacking, and I'll just like eat my like regular healthy meals throughout the day.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that'll like help cut down on my weight. And I was like, okay, then I'll just do that. And then that very quickly went to, oh, well, like, do I really need to, like, eat breakfast? No. Like, I'm not hungry. Like, why am I eating? So I'm just not going to eat if I'm not hungry. So I was like, well, I don't really want breakfast, so I'm just not going to eat it. So then I didn't eat breakfast.
And then it just got worse.
It just got worse and worse. And then, like I said, like, nobody knew that this was happening because also I was very busy. Like, I was working. I was in a lot of extracurriculars at school, which kept me late at school. I was never around people enough for people to notice that I wasn't eating.
Also, when you were around your friends, you would eat, but you would also constantly just talk about food.
Yeah.
Like everyone kind of knew you in high school as the girl who was obsessed with pizza.
Yeah.
Because you just said...
Or loved food.
Yeah. Because that's all you said. So I think you were also kind of tricking people...
Yeah.
...into being like, I'm fine, I'm eating, I love food, obviously, because I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be worried about me.
Yeah. And, like, when I hung out with, like, my friends and stuff, like, I knew, like, if I knew that we were, like, going out to eat or something, I, like, wouldn't eat for, like, a full day beforehand.
Yeah.
And then, like, I would go out and eat with them so that, like, they would see me eating. And then I'd be like, yeah, I just love food so much. Like, I never stop eating. Like, I just love it. Like, that was my thing.
Was, like, your kind of treat to yourself as well.
Yeah. And then, but then after I would eat, like, I wouldn't eat then for, like, another day.
So you just did your eating disorder was restricting, right? You never, like...
Yeah, like, at one point, like, when I would get really, like, anxious or something, I would, like, try to make myself throw up, which happened, like, a couple times, but I never, like, did it. Like, I could...
Right.
I also have, like, a mild fear of, like, throw up.
Yeah, you don't like throw up.
Yeah, so, like, even though I was, like, trying to get myself to do it, my body just was like, nope.
Yeah.
So, like, I never, like, threw up, but, like, I had, like, because I was, like, restricting myself so much, I had, like, a few situations where I would I was passing out, and, like, people just, like, didn't know why it was happening. Specifically, like, one time I was in what's that? Co-op. I was in co-op class, and we were doing, like, a video, like, on WMIS and, like, safety and stuff like that, and somebody had, like, cut their finger or something in the video. And I got, like, super lightheaded, and I almost passed out. And the teacher thought, like, oh, like, you're queasy because of the video.
Right.
Which I let him believe.
But you just hadn't
But
eaten.
realistically, I just hadn't eaten in like, quite a few days at that point. And then, like, somebody gave me, like, some orange. That was another thing. Like, I got really sick, like, with a cold right before I was supposed to do the play.
Yeah.
In grade 12. And then I was like... oh, like, I don't really have an appetite, so that's fine. I'm just, like, not going to eat. I just drank orange juice for, like, 2 weeks straight.
Really?
Yeah, like, I just, like, barely
just went
ate.
Off that.
Yeah, and I literally just, like, lived off orange juice for 2 weeks straight. That made me drop, like, quite a bit, like, super quickly.
Yeah.
And then, which I don't suggest anybody trying to do this.
No.
This is, like, this was me not...
You were just in a really unhealthy mindset.
Yeah. But thinking that I was doing something healthy.
Yeah.
Plus, like, on top of that, which I don't blame anybody for this, but, like, I was actively making bad decisions to drop weight. But then at the same time, people were like, oh my God, like, you look so good. They were complimenting
you, yeah.
Yeah, they were like, oh my God. Like, and I was like, yeah, like, I'm so healthy right now. Like, and, like, you can see in, like, the photos that I've shared online too, there's like the summer before college where we went to the beach, and I have no ass, like, I have no boobs, like, I am straight up and down.
Yeah.
Because I just like when I lost the weight, I wasn't like weightlifting, I wasn't working out, like, I was just straight up not eating.
Yeah.
So then when you do that, like, you just lose
body fat.
Lose overall
everywhere.
fat. Yeah. So, like, now when I work out and I train and I, like, eat properly, it's healthier. And I haven't restricted myself. Like, there have been, like, a few times since I've come out of that. So basically then, like, after high school, because that was, like, grade 12, then I went to college. And then in college, first year I gained, well, like, in high school I was, like, probably around 120 in grade 12. And then I had gone up to, like, 160, 170.
Yeah.
By Christmas of
And
first
that was your
year.
heaviest.
Yeah, that's the heaviest I've been. So I'm only 5'3". So 160, 170 was like, especially from like 120.
Yeah.
That was like quite a jump. And I was just binging.
Yeah.
So like I was eating all the time. I was also drinking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so like I was eating all the time. And it was like, I had just like lost all control.
Yeah.
Like, and I was in a very depressive like state. Like those 2 years at college were really rough for me,
bad.
like mentally. And then like I was just stressed to the nines most of the time because of school. And then like on top of that, like I paid my own way through school. So then that financially was like stressing me out. And then I was doing long distance at the time with my boyfriend. Like there was just like a lot of contributing factors. And then when I would get like in like a state of like really upset and like depressive, I would just eat.
Yeah, because it would be your comfort thing.
Yeah, and I would eat, and there was no control. Like, I would get a bag of, like, chips and dip and eat the whole bag and the whole jar. Mm-hmm. Or, like, do you know those little, like, fruit snack things? Like, the Scooby-Doo, like, gummy snacks?
Yeah.
I would get, like, a whole pack of those and eat the
them.
entire pack, like, in the entire box.
Yeah.
Like, there was no control at all. So, then I obviously gained very quickly.
Yeah.
Especially like your metabolism kind of goes to shit when you starve yourself.
Yeah.
So then when I'm starving myself, your body and your metabolism goes to shit. So then when you do start eating, you gain pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what had happened to me. So I gained like a bunch. Then at Christmas time, then I came home. Obviously people noticed that I had gained weight.
Yeah.
So then that was a discussion that happened when I came home, and I was just ignoring it. Like at this point, I was just like doing my best to ignore it, which was not the best idea because like I knew I wasn't healthy, but like partially I was in denial, partially I knew it was happening and just like didn't know how, like, what to do about it.
Also because I think if you say it out loud, it kind of makes it real.
Yeah. And like nobody knew I was binging. Yeah. So like people knew that I was like gaining weight, but like I was like drinking a lot. Like I said, I would go also because in college I lived with 3 other people. Mm-hmm. So if I restricted my eating, people would know.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I can't restrict as much as I used to. And then on top of that, I was like, anytime I would get stressed out, I would binge.
Yeah.
So then like it was just like it was
just like a constant cycle.
Yeah, and I went from like one extreme of like using it to feel control of like by like starving myself to the whole other extreme of like I feel so out of control that I'm just gonna like eat.
And I think the important thing is to find balance in between those because you don't want to be afraid of food. Yeah. Because you're supposed to eat food as a human.
Yeah,
literally,
you need
that
food.
is the goal. You need food, and food tastes fucking good.
Yeah,
and it nourishes you.
Yeah.
So going from like one end of an extreme to the other,
like literally in the span of 2 years,
it's completely then wrecked your relationship with food. Yeah. And then obviously now you've struggled with your like bulking. Yeah. You're doing it healthy. Yeah. But in your mind, you're still like, I'm getting fatter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's damaging.
Yeah. So then, like, since I started working out, because then I felt super shit about myself after college because I had gained all that weight. I lost, like, about, like, 5-ish pounds in, like, second year of college because basically, like, I was just working a lot. Like, I worked second year, so I was, like, moving a lot more in general. Yeah. So I lost, like, a little bit of weight, but, like, I still wasn't really eating that healthy, like... Yeah, I was still binging at times, like, but then when I came home after college, that's when I was like, okay, like,
let's get our shit together.
Yeah, like, I was basically like, I feel shit about myself all the time. Mm-hmm. I can't move my body the way I want to be able to move it. Yeah. And then I was like, another thing was like, if I ever get attacked, like I was like, I can't
fend for myself.
I can't fend for myself. Like I can't run away. Yeah. So then I was like, well, what can I do about this? And then I was like, nobody can do anything, like except me. Like I'm the only person that can do anything. But then because of the eating disorder, I was able to recognize that what I was doing then wasn't healthy either. Yeah. It helped me a lot when I started going to the gym because I had a friend who went to the gym with me who also struggled with food. And she was like when I was talking to her, like I would be like, oh, well, I should restrict this. And she would be like, no, you need carbs for energy to be able to work out. So she was like, you should be eating. Like, she would kind of be like, why aren't you eating? Like, or you should be eating this and this and that. Like, she helped me a lot in being like, oh, I don't need to cut out my whole diet to see results. And then, like, I started seeing results, like, every 3 months. I took photos that year. Yeah. And I was seeing results every 3 months. Yeah. While I was still eating. So I was like, okay, this is what I want. Like, I want to be able to eat but still be in control and not either go one way or the other extremely. Like, I'm still seeing the results that I want while still eating and not having to cut out everything or, like, lie to people or binge. And I wasn't binging at that time either. So then that was, like, post-college. And that was, like, did wonder. Like, literally, I think the gym really saved me from starving myself. Yeah. And then I kind of hit a plateau when I moved to Toronto. And because at that point I had been essentially cutting. I didn't know it was cutting at the time, but essentially cutting for like the last like year. So then when I moved to Toronto, I became a trainer. And then from there, I learned like so much more about the human body and stuff like that. And then I had other trainers who like helped me get over that plateau without me having to really bulk. Like, I didn't really bulk at that time, and I've never done like a proper bulk until recently. So I'd always kind of been doing like either maintenance or cutting, like for the whole last 3 years, and that worked for me because I was never gaining weight. Like, I was either like maintaining the weight or dropping weight. I might have gained like a few pounds here or there, like maybe 10 pounds through like maintenance, or like maybe I was going out more and eating more, but it was never so much that it was like panicky. Yeah. And then I would just cut again and then drop that weight again. Right. So like that was never a thing. And but then I hit a plateau recently about like a few months ago. And then through like talking with Judah, who is also a trainer, he was like, you've never done a real bulk before. I think you should bulk, which is like scientifically, like if you bulk, it works on your metabolism because you gain muscle, and then you can cut, and then you're able to kind of work towards the body and the goals that you have set for like physically. And it's also healthier to do things like that. Like your weight is supposed to fluctuate. Like, over the course of your lifetime. Like, that's natural and normal for it to happen. And then especially if you're into weightlifting, like, you have to bulk and cut. Like, that's how you make any progress with things, right? So then for me, I was like, yeah, I just don't want to gain weight. I don't want to gain weight. Like, that was the big thing in my head. And then he was like, yeah, but, like, if you don't bulk, like, you're going to stay where you are. Like, you're not going to get the goals. You're just going to stay in, like, your maintenance period. Yeah, that you're looking for. And he was like, your metabolism probably needs a change. And I was like, yeah, I know. And I know this. Like, deep down, I know the science behind it. I know that that's what's supposed to happen. But mentally, I'm not. You're not there. I'm not there. Like, it's hard for me to, like, accept that. So, basically, I agreed to try it for like a couple weeks. And I was like, I'll try it. If it's really hard, I'll stop. And then I'll cut again or like maintenance again. But obviously, if you follow me on Instagram, I have been doing the bulk for 6 weeks now. The first month was awful. Yeah. Like, mentally, I cried a lot. Also, like, anything, like every day for especially like the first 2 weeks, I was like waking up because like I'm obviously having to eat like breakfast now, plus a lunch, plus a dinner, plus snacks. So, like, I was, like, every time I would eat, I would be like, should I really be eating this? Like, or maybe I should just go back to cutting. Like, that was the conversation, and it happens every time you put something in your mouth.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, it's fine. Like, factually, this is good. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm still being healthy. Like, it's okay. Like, this is what's healthy for me right now. Every single time you eat, which is exhausting. It's, like, so exhausting to, like, constantly be, like, thinking about what you're eating and being like, should I be eating this? Or should I, like, stop eating this? Or should I start restricting myself again? And then it's just, like, you have to continuously talk yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Again and again and again. And, like, I don't think people, like, realize, like, that's what it is. Because then, like I said, like, a lot of times when I was younger, when I would be like, oh, like, I feel like shit about myself. Like, I feel fat. People would be like, oh, well, if you think that about yourself, like, what do you think about me?
Yeah, and then that kind of just reflects what they're thinking about themselves, because it doesn't ignore the fact that you feel fat.
Yeah. And, like, that doesn't, like, when I'm
You're
saying,
not calling them fat.
Yeah. Like, it has, like, nothing to do with somebody else. Like, like, I don't look at somebody else and I'm like, oh, they're fat.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm feeling I'm fat,
yeah.
I don't look at somebody else and think that.
Right.
Most likely what I'm thinking is they're looking at me thinking I'm fat.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's going on inside my head. That's the thing.
And I can understand if a fatter person is with you and then you say that you're fat and they go, oh my God.
Yeah.
What the hell do they think of me?
Yeah.
But everyone is always constantly thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
They're never I'm never going down a street and going, oh my God.
Yeah.
That person's fat.
Yeah.
I would never say that.
Yeah.
So then you kind of have to think the same towards yourself.
Yeah.
If you would never call that person fat, why are you calling yourself that?
Yeah.
In a derogatory way.
Yeah.
In a hurtful way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would never, like, as a trainer, obviously, if people came in, lots of times, like, you get women, especially, who come in and are like, oh, I'm fat.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no, you have fat on your body. Everybody does.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but if you want to lose fat, if that's your goal, I can help you with that. Or if you want to gain muscle, I can also help you with that. So, like, you have fat. You're not fat. You have fat on your body. Yeah. And it's normal. Like, you can't be at 0% body fat. That's literally impossible. Like, you'll probably die.
You'll die.
But I want people to know, like, when I'm like that, it's so inside. Like, it's not a reflection. It's a very personal thing. It's not a reflection on how I feel about anybody at all. Like, it's a very in my head. And then, like, through therapy and, like, stuff like that, I've done, like, a lot about thinking about, like, fact versus fiction and stuff like that. Like, now that I'm 6 weeks into the bulk, much better. Like, I still have moments where I'm like, oh, I don't feel that great about where I am because, like, I don't feel like I look the best that I have looked or how I want to look necessarily. But, like, I'm feeling much better now. And, like, energy-wise, feeling great. Like, that's basically, like, Jude and I even talked about it last night. Like, he was like, how do you feel, like, day to day? And I was like, I feel good. Like, I have way more energy. Like, I'm feeling a lot better. Like, I'm lifting a lot more. And he's like, then you're good. He was like, you can stop at any time. Or you can continue for a bit. I'm a little worried to continue too much with the bulk if I'm not in the gym because obviously I don't have the weight. And the whole point in the bulk is for me to gain muscle. So I don't think I'm going to bulk for too much longer. But, like, just, like, going off of how I feel a lot better right now than I was feeling.
And that's the important thing.
Which is important. So, like, and then, like, with the whole jeans thing not fitting. So, like, I make a joke about that now. But in the moment, when the jeans really didn't fit... I was stressed.
Yeah, and I mean, I could tell because you're, like, coming out of the bedroom, like, well...
Like, I'm frustrated, I'm stressed, and then, like, it just progressively, like, my anxiety just gets worse from there. And, like, I talked to Annie about this after it happened, but, like, when it happened, I had a dentist appointment later that day. So I was like, it doesn't bother me. Like, even though it was bothering me, I was just like, nope, I'm just going to ignore it. It's not bothering me. It doesn't bother me. And then the whole day in the back of my head, I'm just like, oh my God, I look fat. Yeah. Like, none of my clothes fit me anymore. Like, I look fat. I am fat. And then I'm, like, walking past, like, windows and, like, looking at myself in every single window to be like, do I look fat? Yeah. Like, and checking to see if I look fat. And then, like, it's...
Because even though it was something so small about, like, a pair of jeans not fitting,
Yeah.
I think it's the whole point how it just relates to the way you kind of deal with food.
Yeah.
Like, it's continuously a trigger.
Yeah. And then, like, that day at the... Like, I didn't eat before I went to the dentist appointment because I was triggered by it. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, well, I have to go to my dentist appointment, so I just won't eat. It's fine.
Yeah.
Then I go to and then I'm restricting, right? Then all these emotions come, right? And now I want to binge.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that, thankfully, because it's weird because, like, sometimes I'll be like, I want to binge, and then other times I'll be like, no, I want to starve.
Yeah.
So it's like this conflicting.
It's like a constant back and forth.
Yeah. So then, like, I got hungry after the dentist appointment because at this point I haven't eaten for, like, a good portion of the day.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, I need to eat something. And then the only thing close is a McDonald's. Mm. So then I was like, okay, well, I have to eat, so I'll go to the McDonald's. But then it's like, or I could just, like, continue to not eat. I have water. Just drink the water.
Yeah.
And then just, like, wait till I get home and telling myself I'm going to eat when I get home when I'm probably not going to do that. Thankfully, I made the decision to get a meal. And I didn't go wild with it.
Yeah.
Because while you're standing there, I was like, well, I could binge.
Yeah.
And in your head, you're not saying I could binge. You're just like, oh, I want this. 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 Like, literally, I'm standing there, like, putting in my order as, like, a double cheeseburger and fries, which is what I would usually get. But then I'm like, oh, but there's ice cream. Oh, I could get a large fry. Oh, I could get, like, a pop, too. Like, I'm standing there doing that at the thing. Like, while I'm ordering. But then at the same time, I'm like, no, like, I shouldn't do this. I just tried on jeans this morning that don't fit. Mm-hmm. So, like, maybe I should just not eat at all. Yeah. Thankfully, because of growth, I just got a regular meal. I ate it. I was satisfied after. I wasn't, like, super overwhelmingly full, but I was satisfied. And then I was fine. Then, of course, like, later in the day, because I still haven't dealt with the emotions that I've just dealt with all day, I broke down. And then Judah was there. So, like, he is able to talk to me about it. And we do, like, the fact versus fiction. This is, like, I want to tell people about this because, like, our friend Cassie told me that this helps with her anxiety about the fact versus fiction. And you can use this for literally anything. I use this a lot when it comes to my food.
I do it with panic attacks. Yeah.
Like, and because it's basically, like, fictionally in my head, I'm saying I'm fat. I'm getting fat, right? But that's not true. Mm-hmm. Like, I am actively working out. I'm actively eating healthy most of the time. Mm-hmm. I am actively making an effort to be healthy. So I'm not getting fat. I'm not being unhealthy. I haven't been binging. I haven't been restricting myself. Yeah. But in my head, I'm telling myself that that's what's happening and that's what I need to do.
Yeah, because you think otherwise.
Yeah. So then it's like about... So fact versus fiction is where when those thoughts come into place, you're like, is this a fact or is this fiction? Mm-hmm. And then from there, then, like, you're like, okay, so if this is fiction, because it is, then what's the facts? And then you're like, okay, factually, if I eat more than my calorie amount and I'm working out, I will gain muscle. Mm-hmm. Factually, I have more energy now that I am eating properly. Factually, nobody thinks I'm fat. Nobody has told me that I am fat.
Yeah.
Factually, it is natural for me to go up in a pant size if I'm bulking. Mm-hmm. That's all facts. So, like, if you tell yourself the facts, it's easier. But because I went all day just ignoring these emotions...
They're 10 times worse
They're 10 times worse now later in the day when I'm, like... Then I break down because of it.
Yeah.
And then, thankfully, like... I don't even know if Judah knows that this is what he's doing, that it's fact versus fiction, but he will sit with me and be like, factually, this is what it is. Factually, this is what's happening. Factually, you're, like, naturally going to gain weight when you are bulking. Like, these are the facts. But he said, also factually, when you want to cut again, you're going to lose weight.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be able to cut your food back and then cut again like you want to. And going through those cycles, factually, this is going to help your metabolism.
Yeah.
So, like, doing that with him was, like, because I wasn't able to do it for myself earlier in the day, it helps to have somebody there. But if you don't have somebody there, you're gonna have to get to a point where eventually you have to be able to do that for yourself.
Yeah, it's important to kind of get out of your own mind space, because your mind is probably your worst enemy.
Yeah.
When it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, also, I have, like, notes that I've written down. This is just for my ADHD, though, but that helps me a ton.
Yeah.
Like, I usually put, like, take your medication, take your vitamins, and then I do, are you, dissociating today?
Yeah.
Because that is a major thing with me. So when I have things, like, actually written out, I can kind of more, like, make it more real.
Yeah, it's like a reminder.
It's like a reminder. Because if it's just going on in my head, I never really take what goes on in my head as, like, the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I'll just push it aside.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I actually should have taken my Ritalin today, because I need that.
Yeah.
Because then that gets worse.
Yeah.
So, like, it's important to find, like, coping strategies to help you when you're feeling really low.
Yeah. I don't really, like, a lot of people, I mean, I guess that's what therapists call it too, coping strategies. They are coping strategies, but I don't really think of them as coping strategies because, like, to me, coping strategies just sounds like, oh, you're coping with this.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds, like, kind of negative, so I try and think of it as just, like, a thing. Like,
yeah.
I don't think of it as being, like, a super important, even though it is important, if that makes sense. Like, I try not to think about it as, like, oh, it's this extra thing that I have to do in order to cope in life. Like, I try to think about it as, like, oh, like, this helps me, so I'm going to do it. This makes my life easier. So
if anything, you could call them, like, mindful strategies. Yeah. You know, to make it a bit more positive.
Yeah.
I think certain therapists also call them mindful techniques.
Yeah.
The old school is kind of like coping strategies, because you kind of have to cope with it through life, but, like, you know, it's kind of negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you say it like that.
Yeah. But, like, those few things are, like, things that, like, help us a lot in, like, keeping track, I guess, of, like, our minds and where our minds are going, and, like, making sure that we're not, like, or another thing is, like, if I get in front of a mirror and I start to be like, oh, I feel shitty about this and this and this, like, I try to just, like, stop myself right away and be like, nope, delete that.
Yeah, get that out of your mind.
Yeah, and then say something else, like, that is factual about my body. Like, I am strong.
Affirmations.
Yeah,
they're really
things like
good.
that. I just say them in my head mostly. But yeah, like, those are things that, like, have really helped me. And now, like, I think, like, when I started to do the bulk, I wasn't expecting it to have as much of an effect on me as it did. Like, because, like, when I had gotten to the point of, like, I was, like, actively, like, still eating healthy, working out a lot, like, I was like, oh, I'm cured. Like, I don't have an eating disorder anymore. I have a good relationship with food now, which I will say it's, like, a lot better.
Yeah.
Like, if I had tried bulking, say, like, a year ago, might not have worked.
Yeah.
If I had tried bulking 2 years ago, definitely wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, I think, like, you're always probably going to deal with an eating disorder. You're always going to have it.
Yeah.
But I think you have to find ways to manage it.
Yeah. Yeah.
To make you healthier.
Yeah, and to make sure you don't fall back into it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because, like, sometimes it can happen and you don't realize that it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, you'll start restricting yourself, or I'll start binging and I don't realize it's happening.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, I've always had a pretty shitty relationship with food. Or, like, weight, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, like, growing up, I was fatter than the other girls in my grade.
Yeah.
Like, not, like, completely, but, like, I was obviously bigger than them.
Yeah.
Like, looking back now, I wasn't, like, fat.
You're so tall, too.
I'm 5'10". So I've always, like, carried my weight, like, evenly, I guess you could say, or, like, it looks fine.
Yeah.
But, like, I've always been bigger.
Yeah.
So then going into high school, I was still quite big.
Yeah.
And then people picked on me.
Yeah.
Which, like, it is what it is. I wasn't, like, I don't think I was ever bullied. But, you know, like, the little, like, picking and, like, stupid. I literally, this has stuck with me forever. In grade 8, I wore, like, a really tight top because, hey, I loved it and I wanted it.
Yeah.
And the person behind me, who was bigger than me,
yeah,
poked on my back rolls.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I would be traumatized.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And he was bigger than me. So I'm like, he's probably just dealing with his own shit.
But you didn't think that at the time?
I didn't think that at the time. Obviously, I'm like, this little bitch behind me is pulling on my back rolls and playing with them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And they weren't like a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't a lot of fat, but like, because I was wearing a bra also, it's just poking right underneath there. A little fat roll.
I know exactly what you're
So
talking
he squeezed it. And I turned around, I'm like,
Also, touching you without consent, what?
Yeah, I don't like that anyway. But, because he was sitting beside someone, and he was hyping him up. You know?
But like, you don't need to put other people down
to
to
do
hype
that.
yourself up. But like, when you're a teenager, like you said, he was feeling so shit about himself
that he would just do it to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he needed to do that to somebody else in order, which isn't the right thing.
No.
Might add. When I say needed, it's like, that's genuinely like, he was feeling so shit about himself at the time.
But I think because of that, weight has always been on my mind. Like,
because of that situation, or just like a lot of situations?
Situations like that. It's just like a constant reminder, like, my weight.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think I was necessarily like fat in high school. I mean, I was probably overweight. You know?
I don't ever remember like I said, like, I don't really look at people and like, oh, that they're fat.
Most people don't,
like,
but like,
I just knew you were tall.
Yeah.
Because I'm short.
True, but like, I think that because like, I'm in my own head. Yeah. So then in grade 12, honestly, I was like at a fine weight. Mm-hmm. Like, looking back at it, I'm like nothing was wrong. Mm-hmm. I was 170 at 5'10", which is fine.
It's
fine.
Yeah.
So then I went to first year to second year. Second year, I was at 240.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would never have guessed that
you can't really tell because I am so tall, but you could kind of tell. Like, you could tell, and I could tell I'm getting fatter.
Yeah.
So I think it was probably around like third or fourth year when I got like a really bad eating disorder. Because for me, I was binging, and then I was throwing everything up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was really bad. Because
you were forcing yourself to do it?
Yeah.
Or you would just eat so much that you would throw up?
No, I'd force myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even like if I wasn't binging, I would just go and throw it up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was living by myself.
So, yeah, there was nobody there.
There was no one there to be like, you shouldn't do that. Yeah. Or like, you should eat something.
What would happen if there were people there?
I would usually just like not eat a lot. You know?
Yeah.
And like 2018, 2019 is when I started working out, like a lot. And I was getting like a lot better in the gym.
Yeah.
And I was looking better. And then I also went vegan for 8 months.
Yeah.
So I kind of stopped throwing up in like the end of 2018, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the end of 2018. And then I went vegan for like 8 months.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't eating a lot.
Yeah.
I was still like restricting quite a bit.
Yeah, now like I think we both are a lot better at knowing what to eat and like when, like, recognizing when we're restricting. Yeah. And when we're getting to that point.
Yeah.
Would you say?
I would say so, for me anyway.
And you don't throw up anymore?
No. I haven't done that in a very long time.
Have you thought about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
always.
you probably will
always think about it. Or like, sometimes I just won't eat.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't need to eat.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I do, obviously.
Yeah.
But then in my mind, I'm like, I don't need to eat. Like, I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah. And like, I think like as a friend, if I see you're not eating, like because like I know how it is, I just try to be like, oh, friend, like I don't know if you're eating enough. Yeah. To just like say, but like I won't push it too far because I know then that could like make it worse. So just by being like, I don't think you're eating enough, it's basically just like, in case you are feeling like you shouldn't eat, that's like another voice being like, it's okay to eat. Because I don't want like you to feel, because like right now I'm bulking obviously, but you're cutting because you want to drop weight.
Yeah.
But I'm bulking. So we're on very different eating.
Yeah.
Like we eat the same things, but like you're obviously eating like less and I'm eating more. So then even with that, like sometimes like watching other people eat can
it's
be
like a trigger.
Like for me it's not really, because like I said, I'm so in my head about it that like watching somebody else eat, like I'm just worried about what's on my plate and what I should be eating. And also like I've never been like, oh, I'm not gonna eat around somebody. Like I've never been that type of person either. Most likely because I was always trying to hide the fact that I was restricting.
Right.
So I don't have an issue with eating around people.
Yeah.
But like I know for some other people it might be different. So then like, yeah, I just try to like, if I feel like you're like not eating enough, I'll be honest.
Just mention it.
But like if you're like, oh, I think I am, then I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. Like probably when I was at my heaviest, I wouldn't eat a lot around people.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh, you're the fat girl eating a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but like that's in your head.
That's in my head.
Other people don't think that, but you're
it's in your head.
Yeah.
In your head. So then you're like, I don't know where the line is anymore.
Yeah.
I want to eat because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
But I'm also gaining too much weight. But then I'm like, I probably shouldn't eat this much anyway. It's like very like, it's a hard thing. Now I'm not 240 anymore.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm at 190 now.
Okay.
That was the last time I weighed myself, but I don't really care about.
We also don't have a scale.
No. We don't care about scales.
Yeah, we don't. Like, right now, like, because I'm bulking, I would say I would like a scale. But one that could tell me, like, my body fat percentage. Because then, like, you get a breakdown. So, like, that would be nice. But I think, like, had I been bulking this whole time and had a scale, I don't know if I would have continued with the bulk.
Yeah.
Because I have no real idea what I weigh right now.
No.
I don't even know if I could guess. I would guess that I'm probably closer to what I was in second year of college.
Yeah.
Than being 120 for sure. But like last summer I was probably like 130-ish. Because I was like cutting and I was going to the gym. Because we were able to go to the gym.
Yeah.
So, like, I was, like, and you can see in my progress photos, like, I look very different now than I did last summer. And then it's just, like, being like, oh, but that's okay because, well, my goals this summer versus last summer are very different.
Yeah, they've changed.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think, like, with that, like, because I weighed you at the gym. And I don't remember what you weighed. To be fair, I don't really look at like weight necessarily when
it's more like the body fat
percentage when I'm training somebody.
I can't remember, but like I don't really like to focus on the weight number anyway because it kind of like puts a whole thing on it.
Yeah.
Like when I was my heaviest, I was so focused and I found out that I was on that number. I'm like, I need to get away from this number as far as possible.
Yeah.
Which isn't healthy because like I wasn't going into it being like I want to be healthy. I'm like, I don't want this fucking number.
When was this one?
This was like second year.
So this was when you were like
this was before this was before I was working out.
Okay.
This was also before I was throwing up.
So this happened and then you started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this was like, I'm at my heaviest, I need to change.
Yeah.
So then instead of like doing it healthy, I'm like, quickest way, throw up.
Yeah, every time you eat.
And this was probably the start of 2018 is when I was like throwing up.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And then I dropped weight.
Were you weighing yourself a lot during that time? Same. Yeah.
I was so focused because I'm like, oh my God, I've lost another 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then you're so focused on your getting results, regardless if you're doing it healthy.
Yeah.
You're still losing weight.
Yeah. And then people are still like...
And people are complimenting you.
Yeah.
And then... Yeah. And then we started training... When did we
2019.
2019.
Because when did I move?
You moved in 2018.
End of 2018.
I think we started training the end of 2018 to the start of 2019. But I was going to the gym at the summer of 2018.
Yeah, you had been starting going to the gym before I moved. And then
Yeah.
I moved, and then I got my job in November. And then I had most of 2019 we were training together.
Yeah. And that's when I wasn't throwing up.
Yeah.
I was eating healthy. I was vegan.
Yeah.
And I was at my fittest, and I was really strong and healthy.
Yeah.
And then the Christmas of 2019 happened. I ate shitty.
Yeah.
I wasn't eating vegan.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of went to shit.
Yeah. With, like, working out and eating.
With just working out and eating. Now I'm back on track. Like, I'm doing okay again.
Yeah. But, like, that's also normal. Like, anybody who has gained weight, like, during the pandemic, like, that's normal because you had, like, a routine, like, where, like, you were able to, like, know when you were, like, you had a routine of eating. Like, you had things that you liked eating and know, like, what you were going to eat.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you had, like, a regular routine of, like, when you were working out and staying active. And then to, like, have most of that taken away
so abruptly
is very like rough. Like,
yeah. So then I'm like, well, fuck, I don't have the gym.
Yeah.
We didn't have any of the weights that we have now. I was back at home, so I was like, oh my god, I'm literally back in the house where I, like, hated myself.
Yeah.
So so much was happening. And then this was also before I had gotten on my Ritalin for my ADHD.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so much was going on to the point where I'm like, I just have no motivation to do anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Also, I had just graduated.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a job.
Yeah. Because of the pandemic.
And then I got let go of my other job.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a lot going on all at once. I don't think I was necessarily gaining a lot of weight back.
Yeah.
But I wasn't losing.
Yeah.
Which is what I was trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like, the summer was really good for me, because, like, I was eating, I mean, we ate out a lot in the summertime, but that's, like, literally all we could do. So, like, but we were, like, even doing things, like, even when we would eat out, I was, like, always, like, oh, like, I need to have, like, usually some kind of vegetable, like, good amount of protein, like, that, plus I was going to the gym or doing, like, home workouts. Like, that's when I started recording and posting stuff for workouts, which I think kept me, like, pretty consistent because I wanted to post videos about it.
Yeah.
And then that had, like, I was working out pretty consistently, like, that was probably, like, the lowest I've been since I started working out.
Yeah.
That was probably, like,
Same.
the most cut I was. Like, I still had, like, good amount of muscle. I was lifting heavier than I had ever been lifting. And then, like, when we moved here was kind of when the second lockdown kind of, we got really sick in, like, December.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got sick, like, at the beginning of December, and then I stopped working. It was just, like, hard because I had, like, no motivation to work out.
It's hard to do so because, like, also when we've been more than a year now.
Yeah, and I had been back at the gym, and then that got taken away again.
Yeah.
And that was really hard for me. And then, like, at that point, there was no vaccine. So we were like,
when's this gonna
end? Like,
and also, people in Toronto have been quite selfish.
Yeah, there were, like, parties and stuff happening and stuff like that. We got sick, not with COVID, but we got sick, and I was, like, out of commission for, like, a good month.
It was bad. I don't know what the hell it was.
Yeah, like, I, like, wasn't able, and we thought for sure I had COVID.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was, like, having a shit ton of chest pain, wasn't able to breathe at night. Like, at some nights I had to, like, sleep sitting up, or I would wake up not being able to breathe. Really sick. Still don't know what exactly it was. Apparently it was just, like, a really bad cold.
Yeah.
But it wasn't COVID because we went and got tested, and it wasn't COVID. But that was, like, I was out for a good month not working out.
Yeah.
And then I had gained weight during that time, and then being here and away from home again, like, we weren't cooking as much, at least in the beginning. Now I cook all the time. But in the beginning, I wasn't cooking as much, so then we were eating out more and stuff like that. And then I had started to gain weight, and then I realized that I was gaining weight, and then I was like, oh, I need to cut again. So then I was starting to basically restrict, and then I had found, like, a balance because I didn't want to restrict too much, but then I was just stuck.
Yeah.
Like, I was stuck, and I was, like, slowly losing, but, like, too slowly. Like, I was losing, like, not even half a pound a week. Like, it was, like, going slow.
Yeah.
And then that's when Judah and I talked, because I had been not changing for a while at that point. And then he was like, I was like, I don't know what to do. And then that's when he suggested the bulk.
Yeah.
And then I've been doing that for the last 6 weeks. But yeah, I think like when you were restricting, you were weighing yourself a lot.
Yeah.
And then when you came out of that and we were like doing the gym, were you weighing a lot outside of when we weighed?
No, because then I had kind of just gone into a different mindset where I wasn't weighing myself, but I was going off my clothes.
Oh, yeah.
My clothes were starting to, like, get more loose.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, I was going off measurements as well. I was focusing more on measurements rather than my actual weight.
Yeah, I did measurements a lot, too.
Which helped me a ton.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm kind of in a space where I want to lose weight to be healthier.
Yeah.
I also don't think I'm necessarily, like, fat. Not fat, but, like, you know, overweight to the point where I was.
Yeah.
Like, I'm quite comfortable now.
Yeah.
Still want to lose weight to be healthier, obviously. And to look better, you know?
Yeah.
But I think growing up, I was more focused on losing weight for other people.
Yeah. Yeah, or just, like, losing weight to fit...
To fit the standard.
Yeah. Like, to have other people, like, accept you.
Yeah.
Which isn't
good.
No.
And also, when we were growing up, curvy kind of wasn't it.
Yeah, no. Now curvy's in, and
now
I was like, yeah,
in.
Baby.
And
curvy's
like
in.
The people that I've been with are fine with that. Like, the curvy look.
Yeah.
Like, no one's been like, oh, my God.
Well, yeah, they just wouldn't be with you.
They just wouldn't be with you.
Yeah. Yeah, even, like, a friend of mine knows somebody. She might not want this in, so I might have to cut this out. But she knows somebody who broke up with his girlfriend because he wasn't sexually attracted to her anymore. Oh, yeah. Because she had supposedly, quote unquote, gained. She's 5 pounds too heavy, is what he had said. I would say most people don't know a difference between 5 pounds heavier or 5 pounds lighter.
No,
not even. So then, because this happened, we like had a conversation about it, because I'm in a long-term relationship, and these people were as well when this happened. And she was like, would he being Judah, would Judah be upset, like, if you gained a bit of weight? And I was like, no. I was like, I don't think so, at least. Like, he's not, like, to me, I don't think he would be. And then she was like, yeah. And then I was like, to be honest, he'd probably find me either just as attractive or more attractive.
Yeah.
And then I was like, so then it got me thinking, well, I wonder what he would think. So then I asked him, and he was like, if you started to gain, like, a lot of weight really quickly, because he knows about, like, my eating thing, he's like, then I would probably, like, just be like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Like, you're, like, if I was getting to the point where I was, like, gaining a lot of weight super quickly and really unhealthy, then he was like, I would probably talk to you about, like, for health purposes.
Yeah.
But he said also, if you were dropping weight, like, super quickly, I would probably talk to you about it for health purposes. But he's like, otherwise, like, he was like, I don't care. Like, he's like, if you were to gain 5 pounds, likely I'm probably not gonna notice. And he's a trainer, so he's probably more likely to notice than anybody. A few of, like, Judah's friends were, like, in the chat, like, when like, around the time that I was asking him about it, and they were, like, the same. Like, they thought the same. They were like, no, I'm probably not gonna notice, or I'm just gonna be like, if you still look really good.
If you're with a partner who gets upset over the fact that you've gained weight, you probably should not be with that person. Yeah. Like, it's not affecting them.
Yeah. Unless, like, obviously, like, you're not in a good place, and you're, like Judah was saying, like, you're gaining weight very quickly, and then, like, it's, like, you're mentally not in a good place about it, and it's, like, causing a lot of, like, because sometimes, like, when I gained weight in college, I didn't want to have sex for, like, a good 6 months because I felt so shit about myself. in that situation,
if it's putting strain on your relationship,
yeah, then like it's something to talk about, but that doesn't mean that they can be shitty to you.
No.
Like that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Like there's usually, to me, there's more going on than just somebody gaining weight then.
Yeah.
Like, or losing weight. Like if I was to drop a lot of weight, maybe the same thing would happen. Mm-hmm. Like I might not want to for the same reasons, because I feel too shit about myself.
Yeah.
To want to have sexual intercourse. So like people don't care as much
as you think
they do.
Yeah.
And like I said, like if I'm at the gym working out, I am only looking at myself really when I'm at the gym, like working out. Like I'm like thinking about how I look. Most often it's like not really how I look anymore. It's mostly like, oh, that booty pump, or like, oh, I'm lifting this much weight now, or like, how's my form, like those type of things. I'm not looking at other people being like, oh, look at that.
And that's person. The same thing for like women who are trying to go to the gym for the first time and trying out weightlifting.
Yeah.
And they're worried about where they're starting.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Like, good people do not care. The only point that you're in the gym is obviously to get better and to be healthier. Yeah. No one's going to be like, oh my God, look at that fat person workout.
Yeah, and if they are, they're trash people.
They're trash people.
But the majority of people are not like that.
No, I've never ever experienced something like that in the gym.
Me neither.
I've experienced sexual harassment, but who hasn't as a woman?
Yeah.
But never anything about like, oh my God, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No one's even come up to me being like, you're doing that wrong.
Yeah.
If anything, like, some women have come up to me and be like, where'd you get those, like, pants?
Yeah. Yeah.
Simple.
I would sometimes have like people who were like significantly overweight would be like, oh, my doctor told me I have to come.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about that now, because then you're not coming for you're coming because your doctor said that you need to come. And then how do we make that enjoyable for you? Because that's a shitty place to start at.
Yeah.
Like, even though like obviously your doctor has to tell you that you're overweight and that it's affecting your health, then and that's it, but that's still not fun for you. And the whole point in making it part of your lifestyle is to make it enjoyable for yourself.
Yeah.
So like some women that I've trained have been like, oh yeah, like my doctor told me I have to come here, but I hate weightlifting. Okay, what do you like to do?
Yeah.
Oh, I tried the spin class and I really like that. Okay, maybe let's start there then.
Yeah, you shouldn't be going to the gym to the point where it feels like a task.
Yeah. Sometimes I still go if it feels like a task, because at this point, like, everybody's like, oh, you have so much motivation. I don't have motivation.
No, not like that. But, like, you want to go to the gym because you want to better yourself.
Yeah.
Also, when I was going to the gym when they were open, it helps my mental health a ton.
Same.
Like, going to the gym is one of the reasons why I went to the gym, not only to get healthier, but was to better my mental health. Because if you have a healthy mind, more than likely you have a healthy body.
Yeah.
Or it's like you have that healthy mindset. So even just having or not having the gym during this pandemic has been really hard.
Yeah, and actively like working out and stuff has been like directly linked to like improvements in mental health for a lot of people. So like that's like another like when I started going to the gym, it was like, okay, I'm gonna take 1 hour out of my day to just focus on me, which was the gym.
Yeah.
And that was like because I was working and like trying to pay off my debt and like things like that. So I was like, that's my 1 hour a day. And like I would do that. Eventually that turned into like my 2 hours a day, because now I work out longer than that. But like that was the beginning. And then like in the beginning also, I was like nervous about going by myself. So I went with a friend for a lot of it at the beginning, and then when she wouldn't come, cause sometimes we worked different shifts or something and she couldn't make it, so I would have to go by myself, and I would still make myself go, but I would probably only do like a cardio machine for like 15-30 minutes and then leave.
Yeah.
But like at least for me, I was like, at least I'm going into the gym without somebody. Now I can go to the gym for like 2-3 hours by myself and be in bliss.
It
like,
slowly builds up.
Yeah. So like But, like, just, like, kind of making myself go and at least do something helped a lot with my anxiety, but not forcing myself to be there for, like, the full 2 hours.
Yeah, and I think the important thing is to put yourself in situations that would usually make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because if you never put yourself in those situations, you never know how they're going to go.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to think in your mind, oh my God, the worst is going to happen when I go to the gym by myself.
Yeah.
But if you go for, like you said, like, in intervals, like, go for 15.
Yeah.
Then next week maybe try 30.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to kind of build yourself up, and then eventually it'll get better.
Yeah. It's essentially just, like, facing your fear of it. Like, and if you never do that, then you're probably never going to be able to go.
That's the thing. You're only stopping yourself.
Yeah.
Because I love to go in the mornings before I had class and just have that me time.
Yeah.
Because I also had 3 jobs at once.
Yeah. That's a lot.
And I had school, so I would go to the gym at 7:30.
Yeah.
We would train usually sometimes at 9 as well.
Yeah.
In 2019. I would also be waking up at 7:30 then.
Yeah.
Like, you do have time for it. If you want to do it, you can make time for it.
Yeah. Even if, like, you're really busy, like, some days, like, if I'm really busy, some days I do skip a workout. Like, if I'm not feeling it,
it's fine.
Some days I do skip a workout. It's really just, like, not letting that one workout, like, or one day of not working out affect the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like, if I skip I always feel better. So, like, sometimes if I am not feeling very motivated, I'll still work out because afterwards I do feel better. I never, like, regret doing it.
No.
Like, I'm never like, oh, fuck. Like, I regret doing that workout.
Because it gives you that kind of, like, boost of dopamine.
Yeah, that, or even, like, if I'm, like, even if, like, I only get, like, we did a leg day, like, earlier this week, but, like, I was on my period, so we did, like, 4 exercises, I think.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I gotta be done after this one. Like, I'm so tired, like, but I don't regret doing it. Like, I still felt good doing it, and I still, like, am glad that I managed to get something in, even if it wasn't a full workout.
Yeah.
Like, I still felt good about getting that little bit in, and I did what I could, and then after that, like, I was like, no, I can't do anymore.
Exactly.
Like, I'm too tired.
And, like, even before I go to bed now, I do yoga and I do stretching.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that for maybe 6 months. Maybe more, honestly. I wasn't doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And then I woke up one morning, I'm like, my body hurts so much. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not stretching.
Yeah.
At all. And I was stretching before and it was going really well. So I'm just like, I should probably do that
Try that again.
Just because it's a pandemic doesn't mean I don't have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And now, like, we have the time to be able to do it, so might as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I'm not, like, feeling like doing it earlier in the day, like, after my workout or something, or I have to, like, go to do something else, like, we'll be on, like, Discord or something, like, watching something, and I'll just be like, oh, I'm just gonna, like, foam roll or stretch while we watch.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, and I'll just do that. Like, I did that the other night, and it was, like, such a lifesaver. Like, because then I'm still doing something that I want to do, which is, like, we've been watching Naruto, so we've been watching that. But, like, being able to, like, stretch, or, like, even if I'm in on the bed, like, I'll just do a bit of stretching while I'm on my bed while we're watching. And it just, like, it makes it so much easier, so then I don't feel like I'm, like, not, like, it's, like, a tedious thing. Like, I'm doing it along while doing something that I actually want to do. But yeah, like, I think, like, although, like, this bulking thing has been, like, one of the hardest things mentally for me to do, it's been probably one of the best things I've done for my relationship with food and, like, my body.
Yeah.
Just being like, oh, it's okay for me to gain weight sometimes.
Yeah, it's normal.
And to not be so, and to, like, kind of teach myself how to deal with that, like, and my emotions with it as they come when I'm going through that.
Yeah.
But yeah, fact versus fiction has helped me a lot. Writing, like, reminders, affirmations, like, those are things that have worked for us.
Therapy as well.
Yeah, therapy. I mean, that's where I got these ideas of what to do. So, and, like, friends, like, being open with your friends about it. Like, had I been open, like, about, like, how self-conscious I was about my boobs to that friend who made the comment, maybe she wouldn't have made the comment.
Yeah.
But because I was so, like, in my head about it, I wasn't honest with my friends at the time about how I was feeling. And then And then that's probably why I spiraled in a lot of cases with things.
Because if your friends don't know what you're going through, they don't know your triggers, they don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
So you can't blame them for not caring.
Yeah.
Or for reacting in a way that has affected you.
Yeah.
Because they don't know.
Yeah. I think, like, still, like, obviously, like, in the case of, like, the comment that was made wasn't a comment that should have ever been made. Like, regardless. But, like... yeah, like you said, like, you can't just expect your friends to know what's going on.
Yeah, and if you are struggling with eating disorders, it is important to reach out to professionals.
Yeah.
Because your friends can always offer advice and, you know, and be a great support system, but they can't offer professional. Oh my God.
Professional?
I'm having a stroke. Professional advice.
Professional advice, yeah.
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 Because... that's going on in your head, and that's something deep-rooted.
Yeah.
From experience.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah, so, reach out to professionals. We might be able to even put a few links in the link tree for that as well. Or if you want to kind of, like, get more, or you have any questions, DM us. We'll answer.
Simple as that. We're very easy to talk to.
We're not professionals on this, so we're just sharing what we do that helps us a lot. Yeah. So I hope you guys, like, enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, it was good to talk about.
Yeah, it was kind of something that, like I said, I'm doing the bulking right now that I've been dealing with for, like, the past, like, month and a half.
Yeah.
So it was, like, relevant to us now, and we were like, you know what, maybe a lot of other people are dealing with this too sometimes. So so hopefully that gave you a bit of insight.
Yeah.
And maybe some tricks that you can use, like the fact versus fiction, things like
Helps
that.
a lot.
Keep your eyes open because we've got another episode coming next Wednesday.
Yep. I am going to probably put some resources that we've talked about today.
Yeah.
Probably on the Instagram. Because I know that a lot of my friends right now also struggle with similar things.
Yeah.
And I'm sure other people do as well. So it's just nice to have, like, someone that's going through the same thing. Or has been through it. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, our food's here, so we gotta go.
Yeah, we're hungry.
A nice big meal for us. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed it.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye, friends.
Bye, friends.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her.